This submission relates to the agenda item, creating a premier workforce. I am concerned that implementing Policy 1450 while ignoring expert medical opinions will contribute to creating a hostile work and learning environment in our schools. I submit the following video which discusses one of those expert opinions. Thank you.
I'm Adam Kuiper. I'm the editor of The New Atlantis. In our most recent issue, we offer a report that deals with one of the most complex, sometimes even fraught aspects of human existence, sexuality and gender. What we found is that there's a large gap between, on the one hand, the certainty with which beliefs are held about these matters, and on the other, what a sober assessment of the science reveals. What can science tell us about the health and mental health outcomes for people who identify as a gender other than their biological sex?
Well, although the data is very limited, the data that we have is quite alarming, that people who identify as transgender have higher rates of mental health problems and even higher rates of suicidal thoughts, ideation, and attempts than the general population. This is a concern to me as an epidemiologist.
Would you say that generally speaking, more research is needed for these public health questions?
I would say more scientifically based research is needed. I mean, there are thousands of articles published where people express opinions and then they grab some data to support their opinion. But the sort of long-term follow-up that looked at an entire community over time and compared it to other communities, that's what we really need.
What is it that has led you to look into this transgender question in the first place? Why do you care about these matters, and why should the rest of us?
Well, I care about the welfare of children a great deal. In fact, that's probably my primary concern, and I got involved when I read more and more statements about the discovery that children as young as 2 years old or their parents declared they were transgendered, when in fact, majority of children who at some time in their life identify with members of the opposite sex actually grow out of that.
And do we know anything about the different kinds of treatments and their mental health outcomes when it comes to children?
No, we have very limited data because what we need is long-term follow-up data of what happens to these kids if they identify, if they're encouraged in that identification, or if they're given hormone-blocking therapies, or even if they have surgery. We really don't have long-term follow-up data. This is a vulnerable population. I want to focus on their vulnerabilities.